everybody, I'm Latrina Patrick. Welcome to day 12 of our 90-day grant writing tutorial. Well, we have covered quite a bit, and today we want to talk about those final things you need to do before you submit that grant proposal. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure you have someone proofread your grant. You have gone over this narrative tons of times. You have made a million adjustments and changes to correct it, and now you're about to submit it. Well, you need some fresh eyes to take a look at it. So what I recommend that you do is what we used to refer to back in the day as passing the 7-Eleven test, which means you could give your grant to someone standing in front of the 7-Eleven, some Joe Blow who you don't know or doesn't know anything about your program, ask them to read your narrative, and they understand it. And that's really what you want to do, is you want to have an objective third party, preferably somebody who does not know your program. Maybe you have a teenage son or daughter that you can get to do it, or one of your close friends that doesn't work with you. Either way, get someone objective to take a look at your narrative, read through it, and then let you know if they understand it or not. It's important that you accept their feedback and not blow it off as, oh, you just don't understand this field. It's not about that. It's about getting a fresh eye from someone who doesn't understand your program, making sure that they do understand your program by reading what you have only in that narrative. That is key. So when you get someone to look at it, make sure you accept their feedback, go back and make those necessary changes if they identified some things that were not clear. The second thing you want to take a look at is that RFA again, which is your funding announcement. I mentioned back probably day 1 or day 2 that it's important to have several reads of your RFA. And that final read is the read before you submit your grant application. This is the time you want to go back through it and check all of those must-haves and those mandatory items that many funding announcements will specify. Make sure that you've covered all of those areas. So this is the perfect time to do that, so you don't go back and forget something really important that's crucial to the pre-screening process. And if you don't hit it, then of course it won't make it to the screening process of the actual reviewer. That's usually the case with state and federal grants. So you want to make sure that all that work you've put in has not gone to waste. The third thing you want to do is to make sure you get that grant submitted in time. If you're submitting to a corporation or to a foundation, then you're probably going to be submitting it by mail. What I recommend is that you submit it by priority mail or FedEx or UPS or whatever you choose, but make sure you're getting that time stamp on there so you can have proof of when it was submitted, and you're also getting a signature so that you know someone signed for it. The timelines for most grants, whether it's foundation or government grant, they are very clear about those deadlines. And so they may say Friday, January 12th at 5 p.m. Well, honestly, if your grant gets there at 5:01 p.m., I can assure you they won't accept it. So that's why it's important for you to track it, okay? So that's really important. With the federal grants, it is crucial for you to submit it early because the majority of those grants are going to be submitted electronically, which is why they have you register on grants.gov. If your grant is being submitted electronically, you definitely want to give yourself at least 2 to 3 days to submit it in advance of that deadline. The last thing you want to do is to try to submit that grant in the final hour of the deadline. Say it's due at midnight and you're trying to get it through at 11 o'clock p.m. because you didn't have all your stuff together, you didn't plan very well. That's the worst thing you could do. If you give yourself to 48 hours to 72 hours, what that means is that the federal government, they are going to anticipate that there are going to be some technical difficulties, and you definitely should anticipate that. I don't care if you submitted 1 electronic grant or 50, you never know. It's a crapshoot. So what happens is if you give it a couple of days, well, if something comes up and you have 3 days before the grant is due, then they can help you they can give you the technical assistance that you need to get it uploaded. And that's if it's a problem on your end or if it's a problem on their end. Now, if it's a problem on their end and they see that it's going to take a minute to fix that, then only then will they give you permission to submit it after that deadline. That really, though, rarely happens. But if it's a technical error and you're submitting it on the day of the grant being due or even the day before and there's not going to be enough time, then you're pretty much going to be out of luck because they're not going to authorize you to submit that grant late. So make sure that you're giving yourself the time that you need to get it in so that you're not stressed out at the very final hour and something comes up, because you know Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and it certainly will if you're trying to submit this grant electronically. Now, if you have any questions or comments about anything I've covered today, please make sure you leave your comments here on our YouTube channel so other people can access that information and see those responses. While you're here, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can get instant notification whenever I send out or upload a video. I also send out weekly email updates to let you know what we'll be covering that week in the tutorials. I send those out every Monday. But to do that, to receive those, you need to go over to my website and subscribe to my email updates. And that's www.greatervisionconsulting.com. You can also check out my bio and my speaking engagements and things like that and book me if that's something that you feel like is necessary. Now, for subscribing to my email updates, you will get a free Grant Writers Toolkit that includes a template for putting together a proposal, a sample budget, sample letters of support and commitment to use to solicit from your community partners when you're applying for a grant, and even some really great references and websites and things like that that are handy for anybody starting out as a grant writer. So I hope that you've enjoyed today. I look forward to coming back tomorrow and sharing another great tutorial. I'll see you then. Bye.